So let's talk about some news. Um, this is an interesting idea. An idea had been around for a long time. Zip bombs. You can make a file, and then you can compress it with a zip program to make it smaller. And you might get a compression to half size or quarter the size. But you can also maliciously construct a zip file which will expand by a huge amount, and that's called a zip bomb, where you make a file that is small, like 1 megabyte, but it unzips into like 1,000 terabytes or something. So anybody that tries to unzip it will just use up all their memory and crash. And so what this guy did was he has a website running on a small, weak server, and he noticed that a lot of traffic comes from bots, like AI crawling bots, and they make a lot of they download a lot of stuff and burden his server too much. So when that happens, he had it just hand them zip bombs, which will crash them. It's an interesting idea. It might be illegal. This is something that people have talked about for years, various forms of malicious websites. You can try to argue that, like if you just put it on your website, you can say, well, I didn't ask anybody to download it, and maybe I even put in the robots.txt, don't download that file, so anybody that downloads it deserves it. And I don't know if that would hold up in court or not. But anyway, he did it, and it's sort of interesting, and it is one possibility. I know when Cloudflare got attacked with one of the really large DDoS attacks, I saw Matthew Prince discuss this in a talk. He said they were talking about how to stop it, and one of his employees came to him with a little script. He showed it to us, about 30 lines of C. He said, if we ran this script, we'd reflect the attack right back at them and take them down. And he said, I called my lawyer, and my lawyer didn't say no, but there's a risk. And he decided not to do that. So all these forms of punching back on the internet get into this issue of whether they're legal or not. And that's why almost nobody ever does that. Almost nobody ever does any attempt to punish the bad guys. What they do is just protect your own site. That's legal, and usually any attempt to punish the bad guys, you want to leave that to the police and the FBI and stuff. Unless you're one of those guys, you're just wasting your time and money on something that isn't really going to be worth it. Anyway, that's how most people see it. So Chris Krebs worked for Donald Trump at the head of CISA, but he made the fatal mistake of telling him that the 2020 election was won by Joe Biden and was not hacked. So Donald Trump, as he promised in his campaign, is using his second term to take retribution on his enemies. And he is just like the people he loves in the world, the people he imitates, Putin and Duterte in the Philippines, and Kim Jong, the Kim dynasty in North Korea. He loves these dictators, and he loves the way they rule with an iron fist and punish their enemies ruthlessly. So now he has kicked Chris Krebs off the global entry program, denied his security clearance, forced him to resign from his job, and he's doing this also to a judge they just arrested for daring to try to protect someone in their courtroom from being picked up by ICE. And they are trying to create a climate of fear where everybody is afraid to question anything Trump says, and they cower. So this is showing the kind of pettiness, and what it also shows is that there are no checks and balances apparently stopping Trump from doing incredibly illegal, corrupt things, like his cryptocurrency, where he's just taking huge bribes from people, just openly, including foreigners. And he's trying to sue Act Blue and take them down for giving the Democratic money contributions from foreigners, although they have a defense there that they say is quite effective at preventing that, while he's blatantly just taking piles of money from foreigners as explicit bribes to do what they want. So it is just typical mafia-type strongman stuff where he just blatantly commits crimes and shows off that he's committing crimes to make the point that he is the boss and he can do anything he wants, and you just better not say a word about it or he'll punish you. So like I say, I'm out every weekend protesting, and I think we all have to speak up as much as you can, because if enough of us protest, he can't punish us all. Whereas if everybody cowers and hides, then he gets away with everything and just does more and more and more. And he will cheerfully take us back to 1840 if you let him. Speaking of which, I wonder if I've got the... Robert Reich, who's really a champ in this regard, has a really great bunch of podcasts and articles, and here's another one pointing out the same thing I'm saying. If the leaders stay silent, he thinks the U.S. won't survive Trump's next 100 days. I don't know about that, but like me, Robert Reich is pretty old. He's even older than me, so I'm sure he lived through the Nixon years with Watergate, and he may also remember the previous group, the Red Scare from Joseph McCarthy. We've been through periods like this before. That's why I think we'll live through it, but I'm sort of congenitally optimistic. Probably has something to do with the hormone level. But anyway, I think it is really, really important for everyone who has any ability to do so to stand up and protest the Trump administration now. Because if he continues to do this, I'd say this, if he continues to do it for another 100 days, it'll probably no longer be safe to criticize him. He's already made it clear he's going to punish lawyers that oppose him in court. He's going to punish newspapers and polling organizations that dare to publish anything he doesn't like, even if it's true. He's suing pollsters for doing polls and then reporting accurate results, showing he's not popular. It's going to be North Korea here soon if there's enough pushback to hold him back. He's going to turn into one of these nations where you have to just repeat the party line of the government or you get punished. So, let's see. Right, so here's this. I just remembered when he found out that he did that to Chris Krebs, removed his TSA pass, I realized that this is very much like what Nixon did. Nixon tried to get his political enemies audited by the IRS. He sent them a list of 200 Democratic representatives and said, audit all of them, punish them by having IRS audits. And this was the guy in charge of the IRS who refused to do that and said, that's completely illegal, I'm not going to do it. And this is what happened to Trump in his first term. He tried to do incredibly illegal things like shoot protesters and deploy the army against the Black Lives Matter protesters. And many people in the administration refused to obey these orders and said, that's completely illegal, I won't do that. So now he's cleaned those out, and it's clear that the elected Republicans aren't going to do anything. And the appointments, and they're ending all the appointment career bureaucrats that would stop him. So it's very unlikely that anyone will push back this time. That's why most Democrats also seem to just be cowards hiding in the corner, hoping somebody will save them, with a very few exceptions, like Bernie and AOC and a few others. But Bernie and AOC are right, and all the cowards are wrong. And the people who are elected representatives, it is their duty to stand up for what is right and protect us, and most of them are not doing it. They're just cowering in the corner, which is ridiculous. Betrayal of the promise, so they should all be thrown out of office. I think David Hogg is right. David Hogg is going to run primaries against the establishment Democrats that won't speak up against Trump, saying, you guys are worthless, we're going to replace you with younger, more energetic Democrats that will try to preserve America. And I think he's right. So RFK Jr. is a lunatic. And by the way, I just heard they're ending the Narcan program that pays for people to have Narcan to save opiate addicts who take overdoses. And they're going to end that because they think it's better to just let heroin addicts die because they're worthless anyway, which is interesting because RFK Jr. was a heroin addict for 10 years. But this is extremely common that somebody who has been in some kind of position, like comes out as a public advocate against it. It's like so many Republicans are strongly anti-gay because they're secretly gay and in the closet. Somehow this is a common human foible where you come out strongly against something to try to cover up the fact that you're in that category. So anyway, that's appalling. And here he is. He's decided that fluoride makes people stupid based on some fake science article that's garbage. So he's trying to end fluoridation, and apparently he's worked in Utah, but he's trying to get other states to get rid of fluoridation, which would mean a whole lot more tooth cavities and not higher intelligence, because that's garbage. He's also now claiming that the measles vaccine is made with aborted fetuses, and that's why you shouldn't take it. So he's just a lunatic. He has these conspiracy theories, and he's now in charge of our medical thing. So he's ending the COVID vaccine annual shots and maybe the flu vaccine too, because he just doesn't believe in vaccination at all, doesn't believe in pasteurizing milk, doesn't believe in fluoride in the water. And they've already canceled the food safety inspections from the FDA. So we can look forward to a whole lot of more preventable disease in the USA. And all right, well, that's enough. I'm going to stop the news.